he was looking for something that stood out, that was unlike any other. And he found it. And what it was that serious, and we're not talking about like weekend warrior surfers. We're talking about those guys that are literally like that have a moped but have their surfboard strapped to the back, right? They're driving through traffic with this enormous, so these guys that, their hair is, bleached out because they're in the true surfers, the guys that are like surfing.
Like live and die by the surfing sword.
And what they found was just from the way that people surfed, that they ended up skipping meals, and usually 2 of them, and sometimes 3, but usually 2 meals. And a lot of them ended up fat. It wasn't fasting; it was just them choosing to do something else and not having time or the inclination to eat. Because let's face it, surfing's the source, so that's what you're eating. You're eating surfing. So they would skip meals and end up, fasting for, I don't remember what the time was, but it was somewhere around 20, on average, about 20 hours of not eating. And that got them started in that, and it turned out fasting is amazing for a human being. And from there, I just read more and more things. I found more and more things. I found people in history, all the way back to the ancient Greeks. The ancient Greeks knew that fasting was good for you. They knew so many things that we don't know now that they just took for granted. That, like olives are amazing. Like everything about an olive is as good for you as it could be. And it turns out that's pretty much the truth. And fasting and, physical activity all through their lives, these things,
and not just like scattered through history, but also recently, pretty sure he's Japanese, guy got the Nobel Prize for discovering that fasting kills the bad cells in your body.
I think it was 2017, but it was in the last couple of years, and he discovered or proved that the body repaired itself. That the body repaired itself in this way is that, crazy enough, when you're fasting, your body will attack damaged cells and kill them and consume them and expunge them from your body as waste. So all these cells that are not working correctly, because remember earlier how I said that the cells are not listening to your body, when your body's like, hey, eat all this sugar, and your cells are like, I'm good. Well, it turns out those cells are broken. And when you start fasting, it starts getting rid of those cells. It will go in and literally attack those cells and cause them to die and expunge them from the body. The cure to, no, can't say cure, but the thing
that you found that helped you out the most.
Nobody can say that the body doesn't repair itself, that the body can get better. And that's perfectly legal to say.
It's proven.
The body can get better, but it can get so much better if you give it a break from all the crap that you're consuming and the workload, even of healthy food.
You gave a really strong analogy during a conversation we had a long time ago, and you said that if you look at an animal in the wild who is sick or injured, he'll like go into a cave and just not eat, not do anything for like 3 days.
Yeah, into the bush, into as long as it needs to, and be it a carnival, any of those things. And like even if you have like a really sick dog, even if you put food in front of them, they'll sort of like but they don't really eat it or even drink that much water. And they'll drink a little, but you don't need a ton. Their body is doing something. It's busy. And it's almost wrong for you to interrupt it by trying to get them to eat or drink.
Because of the energy, right? Like the amount of energy your body uses to break down food.
When you talk about food, it takes 70% of the energy that you get from food is used up in the digestion and storage of that food. So you net. So for every $1 of food that you take in, your body actually gets to use 30% of it to do stuff. The other 70 goes to giving you that 30. So you have to spend 70 cents to allow you to get that 30 cents to do whatever you want. And when your body's simply, when you're not eating and you're either doing nothing or breaking down fat, and trust me, if you're skinny, you can still fast. You don't have to be 50 pounds overweight to fast. Like normal people can fast. People have been fasting. No Greek was overweight. Like it was unheard of for a Greek person to be overweight, and yet they all routinely fasted, especially when they were sick. So it was kind of amazing when I read that. I was like, wow, they like even back then. And there's been people through history, the yogis, they all tell you, and it's crazy because we think, oh, that's not science, that's not medicine. But our doctors get cancer, our doctors get all of this stuff. They don't know how to avoid it. And then we think, well, is it true? Is it even true? Like anybody could say, hey, if you non-wood, that'll cure cancer, right? And
if you eat this one goji berry.
Right, like you as a normal person, you're not going to go and non-wood to see if it's going to help. But for me, what it did to my energy and diabetes, I read about it, I found enough sources, and I went after it, and I don't recommend to people that they do what I did, which was a immediate 21-day nothing but water fast. That's what I did. People said I was going to die.
People said you were going to die with their jaws completely dropped.
They were not joking. Yes, people thought I would die, but I had done enough research that I was like 90% certain I would not die. But hey, I had burning feet, so I was willing to try anything. When your feet are just on fire all the time, can't sleep, you can't do anything. If you eat anything at all with any amount of sugar in it, you suffer. And so, I just kind of said, I'm pretty sure I can fast here. And at the worst, unless I died abruptly, I could eat again if I really needed to. So I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. And so I went 21 days. No juice, I'm not talking about, where I eat breakfast and then don't eat lunch and dinner. I mean,
zero.
Not a morsel of food went in my mouth for 21, nothing went in my mouth but water. Just water, not even cayenne powder, not lemon juice in my water, nothing, just water. I recommend that if people need to try it, they do 1 to 3 days. And repeated 1 to 3 days will do the trick. It's not as powerful as long ones, but it's still quite powerful. Any amount of fasting on a regular basis is ridiculously powerful for your body.